So this is our third episode on my series about religion and politics. Today I wanted to use the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verses 39 to the end. It's quite a well-known one because it's the one with the speck and the log, and it goes like this. Friend, uh, let me take out the speck of your eye when you yourself do not see the log in your own eye. You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. So I wanted to reflect on this passage regarding our relationship, we as electors and our politicians. We complain easily about our politicians and how they are laid back and easygoing with taxes, with the law, with privilege, and how wicked they are. And we are in some ways right to complain about that because we have so many examples. And often we refer to some examples abroad, and especially in northern countries. For instance, we talk about the German Chancellor who is doing shopping herself and who is very frugal, and we give the example of the MPs and ministers um, in Sweden. Who also have just their salaries and that's it, and they have no privilege. The prime minister in Sweden have an escort, but that's it, and she or he is usually going to have lunch at the catering and not hasn't got a chef for that, and the rest of the cabinet goes to the to their office to the offices. Without a chauffeur, they just just go on foot or take the bicycle. So these examples are quite remarkable, and in some ways they are due to the culture, and we've got to face that. For instance, the transparency that they have is something that is due to their culture. And to give an example, in traditional Swedish house, there are no curtains, because people have nothing to hide. So it's the same in the culture and the behavior of people and amongst their politicians. So let me tell you a story that happened. Um, some people I know who is originally from Southern Europe, around the Mediterranean Sea, uh, was chatting with me one day, and we were exchanging our experiences about living abroad. And he was telling me about this time that he spent in Sweden because he had an experience in Sweden, and how things regimented were, um, how you have to learn the language in the first months, and how you've got to be committed to your health checks. And he was telling me that one day he forgot one of his appointment, and it was the police who came at his door to remind him. So yeah, that was very interesting. And he told me this anecdote that he had once, because once he's been spending some time there, started to have a network of friends, colleagues, and one of his colleagues was telling him that the other day he lost or was stolen his wallet, and went to the police station. And at the police station, he said, "Well, I lost or was stolen my wallet, and there was my ID and my driving license. Okay, sir. So here's a receipt, and you will have it." Soon, back it soon, so you will have a duplicate of your ID and driving license. And so had you some money in your, have you had cash in your wallet? Yes, I had 5,000 crowns. Okay, so here is 5,000 crowns. So my friend of the Southerner said, "Oh, well, that's wonderful. He gave you 5,000 crowns. You should have said that you had 10,000 crowns." Why should I have? I just had 5,000 crowns in my wallet. Yes, but if you said 10,000 crowns, then you would have had 10,000 crowns back. Yes, but why? I had 5,000, not 10,000. So you see the difference of culture that is there, and that is, it tells you in the end, how much the politics and the politicians are the mirror of their own culture. The politicians in Sweden are just reacting the same way as Swedish people react in everyday life. So that leads us to reflect on the way we behave. For instance, we complain about the fact that our politicians, whether in France or in UK, are very easygoing, for instance, with taxes. Yes, they are, and they make mistakes. But for instance, if you have already paid someone cash for a work at home without paying the VAT, without declaring anything, you are into tax avoidance. And we say that they are very easygoing with the law and they have some privileges about the law. Well, when you broke the speed limit and you've got a fine, it's because you've broken the law. And we complain about that they are privileged and they can ask everything they want and have it. Yeah, but don't we do the same? When we've got a problem, for instance, with some papers, we are always like, oh, do you know somebody at the local government who could help me and have my papers in a quicker way? That's having privilege as well. So, in the end, the politicians are just a mirror of what we are doing. Just not at the same level. It's a different scale. So what do we do with that? We can have three different reactions to that. One is to say, well, there's nothing we can do. If they are just acting like we do at a different scale, then so be it. What can we do? The second one can be total denial and say, no, it's totally different. It's not the same thing. We are at our humble level. We are struggling with life. We just do what we can, and they have no problem, so they have no reason to do that, which I think is a denial. Or the third way is not the easiest way, is the longest way. To change things, you need to work long, and if you work for a long time, you've got fruits that last very long, is to actually change our own culture. We've got to be examples in our virtue, in the way we behave toward the law, toward money, toward honesty and things like this. If we complain about our politicians lying, that means that we shouldn't be lying, as we can do day-to-day basis. So I know it's difficult. I know it's a pill to swallow to admit that, but if we want to change things in our culture, we've got to change ourselves first, and then we will have results.